officially call this meeting to order, 6:03. And first of all, welcome Deb. Deb's our new,
Oh, you're
I don't know
new
if you guys know, but Deb's our new council liaison, so.
Okay.
So she'll be joining us. Get the correct heighting.
Yeah, because I'm short, and I always feel like I'm 2 years old sitting at these tables. Too short.
Public comment, there's no one here from public. Approval of March meeting minutes. Did everybody get a chance to see
I read
the
them online.
minutes?
When were they sent out?
John,
the day
he's
after the
good.
meeting.
He's really good. He sent them out day after the meeting.
Oh,
I'm thinking of you, John.
I've had
Thank you.
computer problems.
I know.
I just buried mine.
Did you?
I've already
Yeah.
seen them.
Have you seen
I'm getting
them?
ready to throw it out the window.
I'll tell you what, you know, you've got like the old tower, you have the big
Yeah,
one.
now,
The new one I have is about that big.
you're kidding.
It's unbelievable.
My daughter gave me a laptop. I'm trying to figure that one
Mm.
out. I'm a
Good things
dinosaur.
I'm not
and
a
I'm
technology
proud of it.
group then.
I know.
I have to show my dad how to
That's not
unmute
our
his
job.
computer at least 5 times a day.
That's not our
Turn in my
job.
volume. What are you doing? Anyhow,
It's usually the kids that show us.
It's so true, isn't that so true?
so do it, I
All right, do you
have to be
does anyone
sworn in,
have,
or I approve the
um,
meetings, but I have to be, I'm not a,
Oh, you are not, yeah.
I'm not a,
Yeah,
not a
you're not an official.
full-fledged, I'm only,
official person.
She's almost
I
there.
can, designate you to vote though for Laura, cause Laura is
Okay.
not
well then
here today,
I
so.
vote to approve the meeting, March meeting minutes. But these
And
guys are still
and I
in.
second.
Second,
Sure.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You do a nice job.
Okay. Any
Oh,
opposed?
wonderful.
Mr. Secretary?
Oh, thank you.
He sure does. He sure does. Okay, fundraising plans is next on our agenda. So I just have listed here, those businesses that we had, thank you all for getting back to me with just a brainstorm list of businesses. So, we've got this as a starter to get going forward. And I think they're a good mix. They look like a good mix of different kinds of businesses. So I think that's a good thing. And again, we don't necessarily need, depending on how much, people are willing to put towards the cause. We don't need all of them. But I
Yeah,
think
we
this is a
do.
good mix.
We want
We
them all.
want all of
We
them.
want
You're
them
right.
all.
You're right. We want all of them.
We want them all.
We want all of them. But before the meeting started, John and I were just chit-chatting a little bit about the latest from Justin. And since we likely will not, we can't do anything for any fixing of the sign anyway until July 26th. So we have a ways to go.
Oh, that, we can't do any updates till July
July
26th?
26th.
Why is that?
Because the warrant article was voted down, and that was not just for, so even though it was primarily for funding the project, because it was voted down, we cannot expend funds this
Oh.
year.
Oh.
And then we just don't put a warrant article in for next year, right? And we, cause this is just for this 1 year. So we don't put a warrant article in, we fundraise in the meantime and amass the expense, and, then we can submit it for next year.
In regards to these, I ran into Gary Stewart.
Yep.
At Blue Seal, which ended up in about a 45-minute discussion.
Yeah.
He said he would like to, he said, he talked to you.
Yep.
He
Yeah.
said he'd like to, his wife doesn't want him to.
Yeah.
And he said, I told him about May 10th, and he said he was gonna be out of town.
Okay, yeah.
But I told him, we'd be doing it again in October. But he mentioned one of the top funders in the past was Continental Paving, which I didn't know anything about.
Yeah,
So
the
that might
sign's
be a
right in
good
front
one
of
to
it.
look at.
The signs are right in front of those signs. It says courtesy of the Rotary,
Yeah.
courtesy of Continental, it says it right on the
Yeah,
sign.
Continental paving is not one of the ones on the Londonderry signs. We went through and we looked, we checked all of them.
I could've
But
sworn-
they may have been donors in another sense, right? Because pre-COVID, before I even started with Beautify Londonderry, there was a little bit more consistent.
Do you know what, when we
fundraising.
went through the old yellow vests, there was some Continental
Continental
paving,
paving.
really ancient.
Yeah,
That was
so
really
I wonder
interesting.
if they donated in
Oh,
other
okay.
ways, but, yeah, they're not one of the ones that were the original sign sponsors, or that are listed on the signs.
I didn't think it was on the sign, it was like a sign next
Yeah,
to the.
it's next to,
Yeah.
yeah, right,
The
that's right,
bags.
it's on the, yeah,
Yeah.
it's on.
I did have a preliminary discussion with a friend I know from the gym in Berkshire Hathaway, he's a realtor. And he says they have money set aside, but he says, what you're saying, I said, here you are a realtor, these signs are promoting Londonderry.
town,
He
yeah.
says, that's what we want.
Yeah, yeah,
So he said,
yeah, so
I
I
said,
think we do have,
after our next meeting, when we get the material we can hand out, he
Yeah.
said, give him a call and I'll meet him there and he can take me to the people
okay,
who
That's
make the
great.
decisions.
So,
great.
That's good.
so I think Justin will have answers for us this week on the two open issues. One is, they're gonna set up a PayPal account, or I guess they've got involved with PayPal again, but they have to figure out how they're gonna route the money once it goes through PayPal.
Okay.
And so that's a smaller issue that they could probably figure out. The bigger issue is they're waiting, they've actually kicked it now up to, I guess, the town's attorney, on whether we can fundraise this year with the idea that we would spend the money after July of next year to fix signs. Or whether no means no, I guess that's what they call this whole thing, and we can't even fundraise for the signs this year. That's possible, and he'll get back to us on that. Well,
Why?
it's because I guess that's the way, and maybe if we had been aware of
Right.
that
yeah.
on the warrant article before,
Yeah.
we would have worded it differently
Differently,
perhaps,
yeah.
but,
Or not even gone that route.
or maybe not gone
Yeah.
there.
I don't think, I would not have, like, I'm a little floored by that. It's like, wow,
Yeah,
you're saying we
I
can't
agree.
get money from the town, but you can't do anything either?
right.
Well, we don't know that.
Right,
no, I'm
We're
just
waiting
saying,
to hear
though.
that,
Yeah.
so.
You know.
Sounds
Well, we
crazy.
have to do,
Well, but when
It's
people
right.
voted, did they
Right.
just not vote for
The
putting
tax
money in?
increase or-
Or did they also not vote to do anything with the signs?
Right.
That's possible, and you have to allow for that. I could,
I think it's more the former.
well, yeah.
but you know what though?
Right, right, but legal, like,
It's from a legal perspective, you have to cover, and I get that, because somebody said, well, pay me, whatever, and I'll do this, you know what I mean? So everybody has an opinion,
Oh, yeah, they're-
and everybody's gonna say, well, I took that to be this, not that, so let the lawyers tell us what we can and can't do, and then we'll
Yeah.
figure it out, because can't sweat it, nothing we can do till we know.
I know what you're saying, it just bugs me that, so they turned it down, so, okay, they turned it down, so that puts the full 100% responsibility on us, why can't we start it right now? That bugs me. I know.
well, we're not sure about that yet, yeah,
But
we're
I
not
believe
sure
you're
about it yet.
correct,
Yeah.
just saying. I
Yeah.
mean, the school does it all the time. Something
Yeah.
gets voted down, like a lights and fields.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, we have lights and fields. They're just voting down the dollar amount.
Yeah.
Because it's a budgetary vote, it's not
Yeah,
because the budget committee votes on it. Usually that means that it has to do with finance.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not you didn't ask them, do you want us to fix the signs?
Right.
That's not
Right.
what the question was on the warrant
Right.
article. So
Right.
you were asking for funding, which is money.
right,
Right.
So
Yeah.
I believe, I would tend to believe that you guys are right.
I absolutely agree with you. The only, just putting the
I
other hat on.
understand that, I know you wanna
it-
double check with the legal.
No. Beyond that, I don't judge anything by what people say on Facebook, but some of the negative comments on Facebook were definitely not money related. They were, why are we doing this? Do we really wanna welcome more people into London? There were a
Well, I
few,
think it's
Oh,
more
I
towards
see.
something
Sure,
else
some of
more
those.
than
yeah,
the
I
signs
mean,
itself.
Yeah, there was, some
Oh, okay.
nasty stuff, so.
Well, I'm gonna keep my negative comments to myself
Mhm.
Well,
about the people.
I try to do that, I always get in trouble though.
Well, I probably will before the meeting's over, cause I'm just, but when we go on to another section, I'll discuss my,
Okay.
So that's what hopefully the main crust of your fundraising would be about, I guess.
Yes.
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 yeah, I mean, who would've
Yeah.
thought those signs would be that expensive? I mean,
Yeah,
whoever
well-
got them designed last time, they did a really good job, they're very nice, they're very
They're
pretty,
wonderful. Yeah.
they're wonderful,
Yeah.
and it's like, whoa, just,
And I
you
think
know.
the other problem, the other issue that we're running into is that they're so specialty that really there's only, they're,
Right,
there's
a lot
And you know what, I've had
Detail,
a number
yeah.
of people talk to me about, geez, that was a ridiculous amount of money for a sign, and I said, it's not signs, there's 5 of them.
Signs.
And I said, there's 5 of them, so,
Yeah.
right,
I don't,
oh well,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
so do we have to wait to get the information from legal to be able to approach these people?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would
Okay.
hope, I would
I
hope for
think-
now.
I
Well,
think
yeah, we do, because we don't wanna do anything wrong, so, all right, so we got a good list though, this is I
we
think
have- we
these,
have a good list.
looking at this list, that's like,
Yeah.
and Lamontagne Builders, I don't know who's building that new 96 Juniper Ridge location on Gilchrist there, but it is going up fast.
Wow.
Who?
Massetti.
Well, then we gotta go to them too, add them to the list.
Okay.
Because I know Lamontagne is the 55 community. I can't see the other, like, I just saw the sign that went up. I have to give them some kudos though. They have a guy that drives around in the street sweeper all day long on Gilchrist, getting all the dirt off of, cause it's a hazard for motorcycles and that
Yeah.
with all their dirt,
it is.
with all the trucks going in and out, and they have a big
Yeah.
couple of them, and I was like, it's all right, thank you guys. Do they have to be just Londonderry businesses or no?
No,
If somebody
however,
cares to.
yeah, for example, I put this zoo on here,
Well,
I
there's
don't,
one
they're,
in- oh, they're in Derry,
they're
yeah.
in Derry, they're in Manchester. But, I was thinking that,
Well, if the
they-
workout
for
club
the
donates,
dairy-
then maybe they'll want it
right,
too.
that's what, right, yeah. And a lot of
Planet
people,
Fitness in there.
Planet Fitness, thank you, yes.
I mean, if you're gonna go for all the workouts,
That's right.
you might as well let them
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep,
Um,
absolutely.
Cause at first I had Kelson on my list and I'm like, oh no, I think they're in Derry, and then I'm like, no, wait, they moved, they're
Yeah,
in the new.
and there
they're
is
in the
another
new-
one too.
They're by
yeah.
acai now.
Good pizza there.
But there's the Rockingham Brewery or something like that. I think that's still in Londonderry.
Oh, there's 603. 603 Brewery is in,
Woodmont.
Yeah,
Woodmont.
in Woodmont.
yes,
Yep.
thank you. And
Yeah.
then the one that's Pipe Dreams
Closed.
Brewery.
that one
Oh,
closed.
they are closed,
They
actually. That's what-
closed?
I looked them up because I saw the building when I was
What
driving
happened? I
after
thought
the
they were
meeting.
gonna
And then I
do
Googled to get
business.
the information, perp closed, I
Yeah.
was like,
Violation issues.
Oh, jeez.
um. Yeah, this is a good list though.
So, yeah, I think it's a good list. And so I think we'll, we'll come back to this at our next
Okay.
meeting, which is after the cleanup. And so
Okay.
we'll have that out of the way.
I will give you guys kudos for the idea of going to the library. That was an amazing idea. Good job.
That was John,
That was a
yeah.
nice
I-
Good job,
yes,
John.
Well,
yes,
can we
yes,
jump
it
down
was
to that?
awesome.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean
Without
to
doing
jump
the-
that, but you was just talking about, and it made me think of just.
Well, no,
the-
I saw the thing. I'm gonna jump there anyhow because you brought it up. So we're allowed to go there because she started it.
We are allowed to go there,
Um,
let's go there.
So I shared the post
Update
with the Upper
soon.
Trees of Londonderry Facebook page, and got a few likes. And I had one guy say, "Oh, I've been thinking about cleaning up trash on South Road." And I said, "Well, May 10th is come to meet us outside of Matthew Thornton and get all the supplies you need." So I've started, pushing it that way too. So good.
Yeah, I had some lady call me about South Road the other day. We gotta make sure we hit that.
Yes,
Because
yes,
I
yeah.
sent her a note back saying, yeah, we'll try to put it on the list, but in the interim, you go to the library, and then I got like that much about how she has difficulty walking and stuff like that. And I said, oh, we got it, don't worry about it. Don't
We'll
worry.
take
They always
care
have
of
an
it.
excuse.
No, okay.
Well, no, it was probably really did, but I mean,
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah, no, and you made the paper, which was great.
Yeah.
Again.
Oh, wait a second, wait a minute. Here.
Oh, did I see
Well,
it?
it
colored one.
it didn't make the print though. We only got in the online, here.
Oh, 'cause I
That's
saw it
supposed to get
online
right.
everywhere.
I don't know what happened.
Are you gonna sign it for us?
Well, I
This
do
was
want
great, by the way.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know that's a pain in the butt for him to turn out.
Thank you. Very nice.
We
Yeah,
try to
okay.
celebrate our volunteers as much as possible,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
No,
we need
that-
to keep them.
Could
Very,
you ask
very
him
nice.
to maybe next time, not quite as much forehead?
No, this is
Those are
great.
great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wear a hat.
You need to send one of
That's
these
what you
jobs
guys
to your
need,
grandkids
Beautify
in,
Londonderry hats.
North Carolina, because it's always them making the news. Now you're
I'm
making the
serious,
You know,
news.
that would
I
be a
would do
great
that.
fundraiser.
Yeah.
Beautify Londonderry caps.
We get
I'd buy one.
Shirts and
Do you know
everything.
what the nice, I didn't bring
I
it
like
to, oh,
that.
it's in my
Great
car.
idea.
The fellow that was, he was part of the Historical Society, would always sit on voting day.
Reed
older-
Clark.
Reed Clark.
Oh.
Sold those hats
Like crazy.
for about $25 a pop.
Yeah.
And they're great hats. He
Everybody-
got me twice, okay?
Oh,
Got
boy.
me like 4 or 5 times.
They're great hats, and they
Chris
have
went through
one where
them.
they're like
What
beige.
did they
and-
say on them?
Just Londonderry, I think it had the dates.
1766
Yeah. Oh,
or
okay.
something like that.
Oh, no,
Is he still alive?
I believe so. He's living in D.C. is
Yeah,
all
right,
I
I
know.
knew that.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I've distracted all of you.
No,
Before
we're
we
good.
leave
We're good.
the fundraising thing,
Yeah.
just for the group, you and I already talked, I hadn't put together binders, I said I'd put together binders for everybody. Once we get a go, I'll put the
We
binders
got
together.
time now.
Yeah. And then, I made a mistake, this isn't the one I have one like this for Sponsor Road, this must be yours, Joy.
Oh, maybe, yes.
Yeah, because
yes.
it,
I'll probably create it. in
yeah,
Canva.
so at some point in time,
Okay.
we'll have to
Okay,
get these.
I'll have to
and-
look at the Canva, yeah.
Is
But
that-
you have several
We have
of them,
did
right?
I-
Colored.
I have, yeah, in
The colored version.
But I have, mine is focused on the Sponsor Road side.
Oh.
Okay,
Oh.
this is,
Okay.
I'm sure you put this together, George.
That was
because-
probably for Old Monday.
It was.
Yeah,
for
that's-
one.
Is that what that was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
So I can send that out to everybody in like a PDF file
Yeah.
electronically as well, so that
Okay.
we all have
Because
that.
I have someone that I want
Um,
to send it to electronically, because I'd never get to see him in
Right,
person.
right.
It's a realtor, but,
Yeah,
um,
okay, that's great.
Alright.
Joy to do. Okay, so the next thing I have on here was a sponsor a road, so John just had sent me this update of the, 4 companies and the dates they're going out, so I just wanted to.
are
highlight that.
these official, or these are letters going out to them?
No, these,
No.
Sponsor
so
road.
these sponsor road, these are the companies who, volunteer every 6 months to clean up their specific area.
Oh, okay, okay.
So Trend, we already did theirs, and that's interesting because they're a moving company. They were able to weigh what they picked up, and they picked up 60 pounds on their street
Wow.
of stuff,
Holy
so,
cow.
which was kind of interesting. So
Wonderful.
about 15 bags worth of stuff. Admix is tomorrow. That's Sarah Faber. That's Sean's spouse, runs that one down there, so we'll get them. That's usually a smaller one up on Harvey, and they only do about half Harvey because Harvey's big, and they get a lot of stuff for
I'm
the
sure.
6 or 7 that go out. Bosch is a little further down. They actually do they usually do a catered lunch with theirs, but I see it's starting at 1, so maybe they do
Wow.
lunch before. It's usually a nice one. And then Wind Waste will actually be the same day that we're out, they go out, and they'll be on Nashua Road. By the way, their sign got.
yeah.
got
I was
hit.
just gonna say that, it's kind
Yeah,
of,
I spoke to their ops guy today. He will have that fixed by the time they do the cleanup.
okay, the snowplow did it or something.
Or one of their trucks cut the corner a little bit. I suggested to him, there's a barrier there. I said, why don't you put the sign on the other side of the barrier? Okay, but he said that if he has to replace the pole, it's just down the road, right across the line in Hudson. He can pick up a pole down there,
Oh.
so it's not a big deal. So I didn't volunteer to do that myself, okay? And he stepped right up, and I said, that's a beautiful thing. So,
Thank you.
yeah, tell me about it. So, if anybody would like to go to any of these, Admix, Bosch, or Win Waste is the day of our, or Bosch is the day of our thing, Admix or Win. All we do during the thing is maybe a 5-minute safety spiel on the front end of it, just to make sure everybody understands they don't pick in the middle of the street and, all that kind of stuff. And make sure all the paperwork gets signed. And then you can hang and go out with them, or you can knock
Do
down.
we have the vests or anything for them?
Admix uses our vest. Bosch has their own
Oh.
high visibility T-shirts with the Bosch
Oh,
name on
wow.
them.
Nice.
And Win Waste wears their own.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so. And that's it.
Great.
Sponsor book.
Next on the agenda is sponsor a spot, and I don't have anything to move on this. I've been really swamped. So I haven't put out our new, granting, program. Deb, we've been talking about doing, small grants to people for, if they want to plant some, native plants, bushes, flowers.
See, I'd love to work with conservation, you guys, and Green Team, and focus in on pocket, garden areas, town-owned property that would be
Mhm.
easy to get, almost like hydro seed sunflowers, or not sunflowers, wildflowers,
Wildflowers, yeah.
sorry.
Yep.
Just areas that we could
Yep.
do that, or plant some, natural, the blueberry bushes that would feed the wildlife, or things like that. I really,
Yeah.
I was talking to Marge, and she also felt the same way. It's just, we gotta sit down, it would be nice maybe if we could do a three-way group, meeting,
Mm.
cause, I was looking, they put in that nice boat launch today, conservation, should see it, you don't even, you sit
where
there,
is it?
and
Yeah.
you do this, and you push, and it just slides your kayak in.
Where is
Where?
that?
Scobie.
Oh.
really?
And the
That's
big thing
wonderful.
is that there's, so it's that little place there, there's really no parking.
Yeah.
But there's a whole plan, and Marge was gonna send it to me. There's town-owned land on, right a little further down that
Mhm.
comes up through the power lines, that we could actually put a small road and have it even bigger, you could park and stuff.
Parking area.
But on the other side, the town owns a lot of property there, but it's landlocked almost, except for Lorden,
Lorden Commons?
yeah, Lorden Commons could come down that way a little bit. And they had a plan to put in a whole park with picnic tables
Cool.
and this and that. And,
Wow.
I mean, and it's away from the houses, which is kind of nice, because
Yeah.
those people were because it's not that big of a pond, but
Yeah.
I always
It
thought
would
Scobie was dairy.
no. That's
Scobie
not-
Pond is Londonderry?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I think it changes at that, Brothers Auto is where it ends, Londonderry Dairy. I think
Yeah.
it cuts up into,
I'm gonna have to go take a cruise now and see.
yeah, so I mean, just thinking there's gotta be stuff that as a
Yeah.
group, we could do.
With more power in numbers.
Yep.
Yeah, but it would be nice to accomplish something really a destination place,
Mhm.
just so people get excited about it, which brings more volunteer. That's what happens.
Yeah.
When something's new and shiny, everybody gets all excited and wants to participate,
Yeah.
and then the newness wears off, and it's so you
Yeah.
gotta do something to make it exciting again.
Yeah. Well, what we have been
Kinda like
thinking
my
with Beautify Londonderry is we have the people in this committee to facilitate. So, for example, for a sponsor's spot is what we were calling this, is we would facilitate fundraising. So we were just talking about fundraising specifically for the signs, but have a more general fundraising, selling hats or stickers, or I wrote down here gloves. Maybe we could sell. Maybe we could have Beautify Londonderry branded gloves. I don't know. People could buy them for their pickups. But having that be a more common source of income that then we could then grant out to people who were maintaining a wildflower patch or, something
Yeah,
like
like-
that. So, yeah.
Because I went to a meeting at the Y, and the Chamber of Commerce, because the Y is now putting in a raised bed area to teach the kids sustainability
Right.
and then all that stuff, and we talked about, composting, having compost, like that would be another really good thing. You do it at the dump, having not the dump, but the city transfer waste area.
Drop-off center.
Drop-off center, thank you.
Yeah.
Not a
That-
dump.
Well, that area, right before you go
Yeah.
into it, having something set up, and then people could get dirt, really good soils for, more planting. There's a lot that can be done that we haven't done yet.
Yeah.
It's just like Sandown, I should send it to you. I sent it to Lynn Wiles, to the utility committee, and I'll send it to you please, can you remind to send me an email? To
Yes.
send you that email?
Sure.
So Sandown started doing this big battery collection through a thing where they're getting funds for collecting batteries.
Okay.
The regular or the rechargeable?
All of them.
Any kind of battery?
All batteries, yeah. I didn't read the whole thing, but I
Yeah.
kind of glazed through it.
Okay.
And Hudson Sustainability does a big fundraiser collection thing with Christmas lights,
Oh.
collecting old Christmas lights. And she said she would give me the information on that too. So again,
Okay.
it's all the same. It's really just
Yeah.
environmentally sound good ideas.
Yeah, but if you get some sort of discounts or like money back
Well, that's just
for
it, yeah.
like the town, because I have batteries I need to go get rid of, some regular batteries and a couple rechargeable ones that are dead from different solar lights and that. And I'm like, God, where am I gonna get rid of these? Where am I gonna go? Well, let me just stick them in this little pile right here for now till I know.
Staples.
I think
Oh,
Home Depot.
well, I didn't know if Home Depot did it as well, but
Mm-hmm.
Just
I think they
thoughts.
do.
I mean, these
But-
are just thoughts of
but you're right.
things
No, I
that,
think
like,
that's
the three of
good.
us, the three
Yeah.
groups both
Yeah.
believe that this is a
Yeah.
thing that would help. And this way they
Right.
wouldn't throw them into the thing and kids wouldn't have to pick up batteries. One
Yeah.
less thing they gotta pick
Right.
up.
So Green Team is, if I remember right, you're a not a town, you're a separate organization.
501c3.
Yeah.
So would there be any reason if Green Team had a project that we couldn't fund the
That's what I
project under
think
the
that-
sponsor? Yeah.
Right, yeah,
we could
that's
do
what I
that
think
now.
would be, yeah.
Well, I'm just,
Yeah.
but it has to be something
Yeah.
like, not just, Beautify, I would like conservation to be on board. I'd like the
Yeah.
three of us to
Yeah.
be, okay, this is a good project.
And I
It's a
think that's a great
community.
idea because conservation can actually come in and speak to, these are really good locations. So for example, if we want to do something like pollinator pathways, how can we create, how can we choose our areas, really thinking about how those pollinators might travel.
Right.
So yeah, no, I think that's a great idea, Deb.
So
Yeah,
maybe
good.
in the summer when things are
Yeah, yeah.
kind of slow and
Yeah.
want to sit in an air conditioned room for a day.
Did anybody watch the 60 Minutes last night? Had a thing on monarch butterflies. I don't know if you
No,
saw
but
that.
we're creating the way station at the.
Yeah, if you can catch it on one of the reruns, but it was interesting because they talked about milkweed. Is I guess the big thing that they feed
You
on.
always see them with milkweed.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need to have at least 5 milkweeds minimum.
Yeah.
But there's different types,
Yeah.
which I did not know. But there's a woman.
Milkweed?
Yeah, there's a
Really?
woman in our group, Valerie, who's her house is a way station
Mm.
for the monarchs, and so I think one old home day, I don't know if any of you remember, she actually had some hatching. She brought them,
Huh.
To show,
I didn't see that.
which because you
Wow.
can't,
Yeah.
you never know when they're gonna
Yeah.
actually just happen to line up perfectly.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's neat.
there's money out there, and that's why we became a 501c3 to
Mhm.
go after some grant money.
Mhm.
Now that the butterfly garden is actually going to get the last set of plants in it this year, so it'll take a year for them to
Mhm.
establish, maybe 2, and then we'll be able to finally have it as a station.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, this year
Yeah.
we're putting
That's great.
cutting a trail in the middle of the meadow. We're reseeding the meadow, putting a trail in the middle, putting one of the benches in the middle. And then you get the other trails and then the bench, and then we're still gonna make the lean-to. But we, 2 raised beds that the scouts are gonna help us with.
That's great.
So that's nice, cause
Great.
we're too old to bend and pick all the rocks. We make it out of the rocks from the guy, you know,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
but it's like, yeah, no. And I'm probably the youngest one there. But
That's great.
those are good
That's
ideas
great.
you guys have.
Yeah.
But that always
Very good.
revitalizes people.
You know,
Yeah,
this,
great
this is,
for you.
this is probably wild, and I don't, you know, we talked about composting. I just wonder if, you know, you could have these big bins at the drop-off center and people could bring in leaves and clean grass clippings, not anything where there's been insecticide or anything on it, and just keep on building compost there.
The problem is, so say you cut stuff and you have, what does that cost? The bamboo there, the bamboo or bittersweet or
Oh, right.
Russian
Anything.
sage. These things are all Russian olive plants.
Yeah.
Like they spread in the cuttings, and so
Yeah.
like they're evasive.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
So you don't want to get them in your compost because
Yeah.
their seeds can lay there dormant. I didn't know
Yeah.
this stuff till I did the composting class,
Yeah.
believe it or not. The guy was from Londonderry. You should really have him come in and
Yeah.
talk to you guys. He was pretty amazing. He talked about it, but yeah, you got to be real careful with your clippings.
Does any
You can't-
community do anything like, do you know of any
There's a
community that does
few.
anything like that?
So I will say, John, if I may, so our utilities committee, so we have subcommittees, and it's basically sewer and solid waste again, but as our subcommittee, and we are going to be having, our next meeting is the 30th of April, and we're having a gentleman come in to talk about composting.
Oh, really?
So we're trying to see how, how we might approach it as town committee, and it may be that we're really kind of slowly just educating people about the availability of companies that are coming to do it at household level.
Just a great idea. If you're talking about that, you want to talk about fundraiser, because this is the new thing, right? You want swill, right? From your kitchen, swill.
Yep.
So you guys could get those little Beautify Londonderry barrels that people could buy to put on their kitchen cabinets, to fill, to dump into another one, and leave the nice little Beautify Londonderry one on there. You know what I'm saying? That's how you start your composting, because you need just like little twigs, like no bigger than this.
Right.
That's your first level. What was it? Brown, green, raw. Like you gotta.
Oh.
Anyway, I'm not. But I was just thinking, because they were talking about the different types of cans to put on your counter
Yeah.
to collect the
Yeah.
the food
So we
Right.
could have
to
a
put into the
branded-
I bought
compost, and that would be so cute, because that's your
A
logo.
With Beautify
from
Londonderry.
Tupperware
Yeah.
that was for composting, and I gave it as a gift to somebody.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you had, like, it's something
Wonder
that
how we
went
could do
in,
that.
you know, like
Yeah.
if there was like a 3-piece thing, so you take your bucket out,
Yeah.
but you,
Yeah.
and it's gotta be covered to keep all your bugs out.
Right.
But then they could take the cover and the inner piece and then go wherever.
Yeah.
Or maybe even have a bigger size where they could do small ones, and then like I have a small stainless steel, like for birdseed or something. I use it for my ash from my pellet stove that I use in between when I'm emptying those out. So I pour it into there, and then later on it goes out into my yard.
Yeah.
But that's not a bad size where you could.
I just,
That's a great
you know,
idea.
I
Yeah.
think the caps and
Yeah.
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
So
guy,
that's a
the
nice
guy
to
that's
have that.
coming in on the 30th is a service. He has a
Oh, okay.
composting service.
I'm gonna have Marge give you the name of the other guy too,
Okay.
just for the.
Yeah, that'd be great, because we heard about that. I think the issue right now is that Waste Management is not real interested, because, frankly, they can't make money on it right now without a mandate. So they have a guy like this. He only has 10 customers in Londonderry right now.
Okay.
But one of them is Sunnycrest Farms.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I went and talked to the store manager over there.
Samantha?
Sam, yeah. And she was great. She walked me around and showed me, I mean, it wasn't that fancy of a deal, but And, you know, that works. And then right now what happens is you can bring your compost, your table scraps, et cetera, to Sunnycrest and dump it into their container. And they, there's a charge from the,
I didn't even know that.
from Renewal is the name of the company. And they also do the restaurant.
Janie's. I think,
Janie's.
yeah.
They
Oh,
also
really?
do Janie's, yeah.
Yeah.
So, there is a law
Put
in,
them on the list.
there's a
Yeah,
law
yeah,
in,
yeah.
New
Yeah.
Hampshire, if you're generating above a certain, it's a very high number, a certain number of pounds of waste, that you're supposed to compost, but you have to be a large food producer or perhaps, an arena or a
So
hospital.
what does this service guy, what does he do? They collect all this, and then what happens?
He takes it over
Oh,
to,
he takes it and he
is
picks
it
it up.
J&F Farms over in Derry?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, and he takes it over there and they use it over there, okay? So he's and I think he himself lives in Manchester, so, well, and we haven't met this fellow yet, so I don't wanna get too high on the hog, but he's coming to me, he sounded reasonable on the phone, for somebody, so we'll give him, some time to introduce his program.
That's
And it's interesting,
Neat thing to do.
Yeah.
he's got some projects going with some other towns, including a couple from up where the new town manager is coming from, that neck of the woods.
Lebanon,
Yeah, not Lebanon
Lebanon's
itself,
very
but one of those towns.
progressive when it
Yeah.
comes to
Yeah,
like recycling
Yeah.
and that's why when I started the utility committee, I wanted it to be a resource committee, cause that's
Yeah.
really what's important is your resources. Utility to me is, I don't know, just one thing, whereas resources is more all of it. But whatever, it doesn't matter, a name is a name, right? But maybe they should be in the group meeting too, the subcommittees,
Yeah,
your subcommittee,
right,
so 4 people.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
good. Okay, so DIY bag at library, we've already covered that, is amazing, and I wonder if there's somebody going for tomorrow, because they wanted to, I got a request about cleaning up for Earth Day, and I said, you know, we can figure out how to get you things, however, if you want to just go to the library, so, when do you, John, do they tell you who checks out the bag, or how are we gonna check in like every couple of weeks to see
yeah,
if things near
I
that?
told Aaron that
okay.
I would stop by every couple of weeks to make sure that, and I said, if it comes to it, I'll give you a box of bags.
Yeah,
You know, you can refill yourself, which she was willing to do.
right,
As I said, the other thing is I have to check the grabbers, because they're not as good as the really good ones that we have. So you know, we had a couple of things to work out. So I'll
Okay.
baby the thing for a little while and just see how it goes. And she seemed,
exciting,
yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's fun.
yeah,
But where we have town council presence in the room right now, one of the things that I've been working with is to try to get something here in town hall. You know, we've got a stand that's assembled in my basement, taking up significant space. Okay. And it's actually really cool.
Sounds
If you
like a
want,
honeydew.
I'll send you a picture. But we've,
Yeah.
because we've been bouncing from town manager to town manager, okay, I really can't get a decision, and we have some couches upstairs that nobody knows if they're gonna move, and et cetera, et cetera. And what I'd really like to do is set this up, and this would be you don't even have to sign it out. This would be an honor system thing where you could take a vest, take some breakers.
Okay, so you don't want it downstairs, you want it upstairs.
I'd love to have it downstairs, but I've
They
been,
tried to clean it up. haven't they?
yeah, but they've evidently done a lot of cleaning down here, and I don't want to be unreasonable. The place I'd love to have it is right in the main lobby.
Well, that's, to me, the smarter, because nobody would know to go upstairs, and
Exactly.
sometimes that door's
Yeah.
locked, and,
Sure.
Well, Danny, you're right, Dan.
I mean, it makes sense, it's just
It
more
does.
convenient
So many
to the
people walk
public.
into the office
Yeah.
and walk
Yeah.
right by it.
Yeah,
So if
So
you,
not for this year, but for next year, you'd like that.
I have it ready to go right now.
Oh.
Oh my God, if it takes a year, my
Anytime-
wife's leaving me.
Right.
Okay,
All right, I'll bring it up at public comment.
I'll send you a picture. I'll send
I'm
you a
not gonna
picture.
bring it up
Pictures
at
on
public
YouTube.
comment
Okay.
tonight. There we go. There we go.
good,
Awesome. That
Okay.
would be great.
Oh.
It would be so visible on the
Yes,
first floor.
It
that's
would
what
be.
would be so good about
It
it.
would be nice.
It just-
All right, let's go. So we're not here past our 7 o'clock hour. Cleanup event, May 10th. The date's up at the top. Sorry, I didn't put it in here again, you guys. One better reminder, Saturday, May 10th. So I know John and I will be there. Anybody else?
I can also be there.
Wonderful.
I'll
That's-
try to do.
I mean, I was planning on being there.
Pending.
Awesome.
That's
Oh.
9 to 12?
9 to 12.
Okay.
Yep. And yeah, I mean the
Job.
it's usually between 9 and 10 that
It
most
is
of the
busy,
people
sure.
are it's busy, and
Okay.
so
Spring
if we're
to-
all
to
here for that
October.
time,
Just
that
the
would be
pickings.
really
For
useful.
nine?
For
Okay.
9,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. Oh,
That'd be
absolutely.
really
Right.
useful, and then
Thank
we can kind of like maybe have
And you'd
3
come in
rooms
and
or
watch it
something,
every
Sure.
and get
Sounds
people
great.
set up.
Yeah,
Um,
if we can have, how many clipboards can
Dan,
we have,
If you
because,
wanna sit on this for a meeting,
Um,
I'll get you
I think
all the
last year that
materials,
seemed
so
like
if you
okay,
wanna see
Yeah.
what it
the
looks like.
slowest
Okay,
part, so.
so
Well,
I'll put
I'm-
that on
I'm
the list for
teasing here,
purchase.
but-
Those are
You do
those
a
are
fine
my
job.
clipboards.
I mean,
Okay.
That I've had forever because my
It's
my
like,
kids
if we
are,
had,
I don't let them have electronics, so.
if
They've
there
been
was
borrowing
4 of
forever.
us there, if everybody had at least 2 clipboards, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because you
Mhm.
could be
Great
getting
idea.
2 people
Mhm.
signing them out, or
Um,
more, depending
yeah.
on how expensive they
So
are.
can I,
But-
so, if we purchase, so if I go purchase the clipboards, then, I think we need a vote on purchasing 5 clipboards, should that be?
Are you gonna bring
We
the
have a
other
couple.
ones?
Well,
I would say 10, if you're gonna buy them and not use yours from home,
right,
then I would say,
Oh.
depending on if they're in a 6-pack or a 5-pack or however they come, I would do 10 or 12, because that was the
because then we can
biggest.
hand them out to
You
people,
can hand them out to
okay,
people while they're standing
Okay.
there
okay, that
doing
makes
it,
sense.
cause we
Yeah,
can,
that
we
makes
can do
sense.
more than one person at a
Okay.
time. We don't want people
John,
waiting.
I'm
Okay,
gonna talk
all
about
right.
it tonight,
Um,
and then
so
suggest
can I
that we
have
put it on the
a
agenda for next week, so we
motion
can present
to
it.
buy for the purchase
How's that
of
sound?
10
Sounds wonderful.
to 12 clipboards?
And then we can make a
What's-
decision.
I
When's
make
the
a
next meeting?
motion to
May
purchase
5th.
10 to 12
I'm back,
clipboards.
yes, okay.
And I second. Great
Second.
idea.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Purchase of clipboards. Any
Okay.
against? And we are clipboards 10 to 12. I will make that purchase. Okay, perfect. Great. John M talked to Max, and they're going to sponsor 100 cones.
That's nice.
And also our inventory looks great, so that's a sheet you guys have. John. I'm gonna start calling you our real leader, John.
No, no, no.
Yeah, yeah.
Before you leave,
All right.
this guy, I wanna pump up this guy.
Yeah,
100
Oh,
coupons,
look at
okay,
that.
they're kinda cute looking.
yeah, they're cute.
And then he must have gone online and saw there's 8 of us associated with
Yeah.
Beautify Londonderry, put an extra 8 in an envelope.
Oh, that's
Oh, that was very nice
Nice
of
guy,
Kyle.
nice
That
guy,
was really nice.
nice guy. So,
That's great.
so we're all set. And he loved the plaque, where's Karen?
Great.
Good, good,
He
good.
loved the
Yeah.
plaque.
Did you share this with you, because what happened when I presented the
shared it.
plaque?
I shared a little bit about it, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
When I presented the plaque at Sunnycrest with Samantha and Kelly Hicks, Kelly had a bad day. And her father's ailing, and she had an extended time at the doctor, so she was a little down. So I didn't want to push it.
Absolutely.
They didn't come right out and offer, gee, we'll do this again. So I said, I'll just leave it.
Yeah.
And then I put on here, we could discuss it at our next meeting, what we want to do, but it looks like you've already taken that. Maybe we could alternate
Yeah.
in the future.
And we could, because Max last year did apples for our fall, so, if there's some,
Whatever
if we wanna
Do
approach
apples
Sunnycrest for
or
apples,
Sunnycrest?
yeah, or,
Or Elwood, I have
Yeah.
a good connection with them.
yeah.
I don't wanna oversell
Yeah.
what happened at Max. Presented the plaque, he was absolutely thrilled to get the plaque, okay? And then he said, well, when's your next event? And I said, well, we were counting on you for apples in the fall, but our next event is May. And he goes, well, apples in May. how about ice cream cones? I said, oh, yeah, good.
Oh,
And then I figure I'd walk out and make it look like I made a big sale, okay?
Yeah.
That's about how it went.
Now, are those freebies?
Yeah.
Those are great, yeah,
Freebies.
Yeah, see, that's what Sunnycrest did.
yeah.
Nice.
We were gonna go in and, kind of
But
meet
he
them
made nice
halfway, and they
ones.
said, no, they did it.
Nice ones.
Yeah, that's.
That's
really
awfully
good.
nice.
So
That
nice.
businesses step up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Right.
they
Support
both,
the
they all got
volunteers.
a plaque,
Nice.
and it looks like they all thought the plaques were nice.
Yeah,
Which is
the
great.
plaque was the
I'm
definite
glad.
winner.
I'm glad we did that,
Very good.
yeah, good.
So on this roadside cleanup.
Yep.
Will they, cause I've noticed this spot on South Road that I pass a million times a day and it makes me mad. There's a one turnoff before you get, coming from Timber, going towards Gilcrest before you get to the guardrail, where you can pull, you can tell it's, people pull in and there is at least 10, I can't count them because there's too many of them, tires out there.
Oh,
Can those be pulled to the edge? Will they take them at that point on that
Yes.
day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What we tell folks to do is,
Yeah.
if you can pull them to the edge safely, you get them close to the road, put one blue bag on the whole pile.
Right.
And then when we call it in to DPW, we let them know, hey, there's 10 tires there in
Right,
addition to
okay.
bags, in case they have to send a second guy.
Okay.
And,
Because I was already, it's like, because it's such a busy road. And I did that road like later during the week one day.
Yeah,
And what I was thinking this time, I'm going to park my car at one end and see how far I can go, but leave my hazards on so that protects me going in front of my car.
Yeah.
You know, because I can't stand South Road.
Just-
People
Yeah.
make me insane that they are such litter bugs and drinking and driving.
Oh,
And it's like, I
All
know
the
people
nip
pull over
balls.
and they hunt and stuff, and there's, there's too much all in one spot to be just a can tossed out the
Oh,
window.
yeah.
yeah.
You know, so,
Yes, and in fact, so I have down here roads to assign. So that in my head was, let's come up with a list of the roads that that will need targeting. That would be more for adult volunteers, and I have had already for groups that have younger ones reach out to me. So we've got to figure out where they're gonna go in a place that's, I think I want to give them some place where they're gonna feel successful,
Sure.
because I think we sent a troop to the town forest last year and they're like, we didn't really find anything. It was pretty clean. So, some place that's secluded. I think the park and rides are usually sometimes a good spot for
what
them to
about the
go.
lava fields?
The lava fields are
Yeah.
good. Yep, they're good.
They're always a
we,
mess.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
might be a little late because they'll be playing ball by then, and don't they do a cleanup before they start their season?
They do, but it's mostly the fields, and they're still the trash.
There's
is
still a lot
mainly-
of
it's-
trash.
I mean,
You got
it's
the
a-
trails too.
Yeah.
to get
yep,
to
and
the fields.
The rail
yeah.
trail would
Yeah.
be a good one.
Well, the rail trail does their own
Oh,
cleanup.
do they?
They do
Yeah.
they do
Oh,
No,
their
I meant the
thing.
trails like,
Yeah.
where am I?
Getting
Right over
into,
here,
yeah.
To go like
Yeah.
to the baseball fields.
Like you
Oh,
get
okay.
from the parking lot here, you can
Right,
get
oh, okay.
over there. And,
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I got a text from Ray Breslin the other day with a picture, and it was like a pile of stuff. And his thing was, when is the Beautify Londonderry going to get on the DPW to go get this? So I called him up. I said, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "Where is this?" And he said, "It's behind. If you go down that road behind Staples there, I said, "I think that's all private property down there."
Oh, yeah,
And he goes,
yeah.
"Yeah, but I guess people are using that as a dump site and dumping it over the
Like,
rail there."
Guys, I'm
Ah.
not gonna be mean, but
Okay, yeah.
I just
Go.
wanna.
6:52.
Sorry.
Yeah, thank you,
No,
Deb,
be
for
on
being
time.
here.
Thank you for
Thank you.
coming.
Yeah.
I will mention
Yep.
this tonight
Oh, great.
in my liaison report, and then
Okay.
if I can have you come,
Sure.
that would be fantastic. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
Have a
Thank you,
good rest of your
Deb.
meeting.
We won't be long, right? Yeah.
I noticed another road that's really bad is High Range.
Yes, and there are some people that are
Oh,
planning
awful.
to do that. There's a couple that do that a couple of individuals who go in their area. So that will be targeted.
I noticed
For
that, 'cause
that.
down at the end where it comes on to 102, because I've picked up there a lot.
Yeah.
It's really bad right now, and also from Doug Johnson's heading that way.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mess there.
Yeah.
I plan on doing Upper Hardy and
Yeah.
as far down as I
Yeah,
can go,
that's
but
your-
Lower Hardy is,
yeah.
really needs attention.
Yeah.
And another area I think is the corner of Gilchrist and Pillsbury. It's, would that be right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
Over
we
there,
do
yeah,
that every
yeah.
year.
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
Yeah,
Right along there.
Pillsbury, the whole
yeah.
Pillsbury needs a lot of work. But yes, you're right. That corner and specifically, it's getting.
I've never
What do
seen
other
High
towns
Range as
do?
bad as it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's that bad? Wow. Okay, so High Range, Auburn Road, I'm sure is. Somebody wrote to me, Wilson. So if you think of any, I'll send an email out to you guys tonight.
South Road,
Just
that's
as like
a
a
long
ping,
road.
as a ping,
Kendall
if you
Pond.
could, Kendall Pond.
Do you know what's a place that's really bad, but it's not a really safe place, is coming, if you're coming from the north and going off exit 4, all in between where the cliffs are, right, that is loaded with junk.
Yeah, it is.
Loaded.
I need to call.
I think
I
any
need to
place
call
where
the
cars slow down and there's a chance to flip stuff out,
Yeah,
there it is.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, about exit 4. And I think, again, I mean,
It's kind
adults
of a
need it for
dangerous
this,
place though.
but people do throw stuff off the highway. And so I've noticed, like on the rail trail where 93 overpass is on the sides. I mean, it's off the trail, but on the sides of that embankment, there's a lot of trash there, unfortunately.
Also on Stonehenge,
Yeah.
That's a
where
bad one, too.
underneath 93 there,
Yeah.
there's a whole section.
Yeah.
There's a little fence there, and it's on both sides of the fence, because depending on where
Fence
it
has
like.
caught
Right,
some of it,
yeah.
yeah.
But I getting back to the areas that are private property, I don't, in that area behind Staples that you were talking
Well,
about.
I was thinking about a couple things. One was, we probably have an issue with DPW, but the football coach for his pickup wants to, he liked last year, I guess they got feedback that the young kids, the freshmen and sophomores on the team, liked all being together when we sent them down to South
Right.
School.
Yeah,
And he asked, could we find a place to send them all together again this year? So I was gonna just take a peek down there and see
okay,
if
yeah,
there's enough work for, he'll have
Yeah.
about 20 freshmen, sophomores.
okay,
And maybe we could send them down there
Yeah.
on, the football team is going on the 10th, I think.
14th.
14th
right?
of June, yeah.
Yeah.
And that might be an idea. Other than that,
Okay.
if you have another idea of a place I can send them all,
Yeah.
I was thinking Laffa Fields, frankly, is the
Yeah.
next choice.
I do think we're gonna have a lot, I think we're gonna have quite a few littles that I think sending them to Laffa would be best,
That's
cause
Oh, absolutely.
it's pretty protected there, so. I did have another, a mom emailed, she's gonna take her daughter and 2 friends, in near, it's, one of the new construction areas, I don't know if it's in the Woodmont area, or, but she was just saying she walks her dog there, and there's not a ton of traffic, but
Oh.
because of the construction that's going on, I think it's the workers that are throwing things
Oh.
out the window. And so there's a lot of trash building up. Near the Baldwin Retirement Apartments.
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
So she said there's a ton of construction litter all over the place right now. So, so I don't know if there are other places like that. And I know we're building up so quickly in a few places. So I don't know if there are other areas like that might be, a little more contained for young people and have a lot of trash that they could pick up. Right?
Sure.
So So if you guys think of anything like that would be great. Okay, next on the agenda, public comment again, and nobody's here, so we're good. Round table discussion. Is there anything else you would like to think about? John, do you want to go first?
I shared some of the things I was thinking about.
Okay.
I can't think of anything more
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
The last town council meeting, and I've forgotten his name, the fellow that sponsors the jazz concert in the summertime.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
Got up and spoke, and his point was Beautify Londonderry is a wonderful thing, but, and then he talked about
Dennis.
mess all over town, particularly on his road, which is
I think
he's Peabody. Okay, that's what I think.
yeah,
Pillsbury.
Pillsbury. I think
Pillsbury,
it's
I'm
right.
sorry,
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah.
Pillsbury Road, all the way
Yeah.
across. And he can't do it anymore because his back is messed up or whatever. But he was proposing one of two things. One is the DPW in the break between when they're plowing snow and when they have to do all their summer projects should spend a whole month cleaning the town, which I don't think is gonna happen.
No,
Okay.
never either.
And then the second thing he was discussing was prisoners, bringing in prisoners to pick the town. And
I'd say no on that one.
well,
Being a mom.
Well, and I
single
think they
person and-
can't do anything but state roads. I think
Right.
they have
That's
to
what you're
be
all
on state
saying.
roads.
actually, that the whole the further discussion, one of the town councils
Yeah.
was aware that, I think Ron actually
Okay.
said that he was aware of it, he had followed up on it, and the state has actually suspended the whole prisoners on the side of the road
Really?
cleaning up thing. Yeah, it's evidently not been good.
Problematic.
Yes.
What about community service?
So I am in contact with some of the high school,
Counselors?
yeah,
Yeah.
groups, clubs.
Yeah.
And so their high school students planning on coming out for their, for doing their
Community
community
service,
service.
okay.
So, but again, like, you know, the older teenagers, I feel comfortable on
Right.
some of the roads, but yeah, Pillsbury is such a narrow road,
Right. That's where you almost need to have
Traffic.
cars staged
yeah,
to protect people.
yeah,
You know, that's why I was thinking, oh, if I park my car
Right,
here,
right, you have to
right at
be
the corner of Timber, I
strategic
can
about it.
go
yeah,
so far,
yeah.
and then it's like in my mind as I keep driving it, I'm like, right, that's one bag, that's two bags, that's three bags.
Yeah.
I could do this one section and fill 12 bags, you know, it's,
I wonder if we, you know, thinking about the visibility, I wonder if we should consider using some of our funds for, you know, now that we're you know, we've been really lucky with not having to purchase our volunteer thank yous. And so I wonder if we should look into getting either more like signs that people like, so give everybody a sign to go, you know, when they're doing like high range or one of these roads, or cones, or
Or does the DPW have cones that we could borrow for the
Yeah.
day? They're expensive,
yeah.
the
I
big
would think
ones,
so.
the
are
big
they?
ones.
Yeah.
I wonder
Okay.
if they would be willing to,
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. I will check on that. That's a good idea.
If we did more signs, though, I would probably not do the ones that
Stick
style
into the
that
ground.
we have now that we spike.
Okay.
Something that somebody has to hold.
Okay.
Like sort of like when you see the roadside construction now. when you
Slow
have
and
the
stop signs,
Slow and
yeah.
stop, yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of a
Yeah.
sign.
Actually, that's not a bad idea
Yeah.
to be able to, especially if we're looking for like, if we had troops of, you know,
Right.
Girl Scouts or something,
Right.
if one of their people could be
Right,
a designated holding a sign, road, you know, Beautify Londonderry, please slow down, something.
Yeah.
I mean, certain roads,
Okay.
you're talking about up the upper end of Hardy there, that's, you take your life in your hands. There's
Oh, yeah,
nothing-
definitely.
There's nothing on
Right.
the side of the road.
Yeah,
there, so.
Yeah.
oh, there's no
Yeah.
question.
I
It's
don't
crazy up
think,
there.
I went for a walk there with Betsy and I said, we're not doing this again. We
Yeah.
have to walk single file and you're still taking your life in your
Yeah.
hands, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
I walked that road, but I'm only out a short time, but,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. would it be helpful if I picked up those clipboards at
Sure.
Staples?
That would be
Okay.
great.
So-
Yeah, thank you, Karen.
All right,
Yeah.
do you care about the quality, you know, how they have like economy, good,
They're
better,
only
do you
used for
care?
one day a year, right?
One day a year. I mean,
Okay.
I would say like if they look super cheap that they're gonna break after,
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little
yeah.
bit, then,
Half, if the
you know,
three
go to
people
the
use it,
medium
then-
quality or
Okay,
whatever.
okay, around 10, 12, more
Yeah.
than that?
I think that's good. I think that,
It gives
10,
us-
12, but you're right. Then we can have stuff set up
We have
as people are
everything,
coming.
already
Yeah.
lined up, ready to go, and just, okay,
Yeah.
here you go, here you go. You can tag team multiple people
Yeah.
waiting
Yeah,
in
it's a great
line.
idea.
Yeah.
And a pack of pencils or mechanical pencils,
Yeah.
pack of pens?
Oh, I would do pens, because
Pens.
Yeah.
see, pencils are not legal binding, are they?
All right, we'll do
And they're
pens.
signing a waiver, so I'm just
Right.
saying,
Yeah.
here's
you're
a
right.
crayon.
You're right.
Sure.
You're right.
If
Yep.
we're, just.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, and I'm gonna ask about the cones and see if we can get something, and look into, maybe sign to hold. I mean, that might be for next year, but,
Sure.
yeah. All right, excellent. Is there anything else, anybody can think of? Turn. No?
No.
Okay. With that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Excellent. We are adjourned 7:04.
All right.
Perfect.
So our next meeting is
Next meeting will be after. So our next time together will be May
May
10th.
May 10th.
And then our next meeting will be, we are in April, May. 1, 2, 3. May, glad I looked, glad you said something. That's Jackson's birthday. So, our next meeting is May 19th. It is Jackson's birthday, and so I will not be here. My son is turning 13, so
Oh, yeah, that's-
I will
Well,
not
that-
be here.
Have another date then.
We can set another date, or or you guys can meet and
I'm not able
Could
to
take-
make that meeting.
you're not able to make that meeting. Okay, all right. The next Monday is Memorial Day, so that's not going to work either. What are you guys thinking? Is there any other availability during that week? We're gonna see each other on the 10th. Should we say
What about
We're
sometime that following week where everything's fresh in our mind?
Do we have to advertise that a
Okay,
certain number of
so-
days in advance for the public? If we change the date?
We do, but it's a week, so it's okay if we do it right now. And if
Okay, no, I just didn't know.
Yeah, and if I ask Kirsten to change it on the calendar, we're good. Yeah, so we could meet on the 12th. It's the day after Mother's Day. That would be 2 days after we would have things fresh in our minds. And
Yeah, good.
that good? Okay, May
Sure.
12th is next meeting.
So, do we have a rain date would be the next Saturday?
The 17th, yeah, the rain date is the 17th. So,
Geez, the way it's been.
Pray for no rain.
Every Saturday it rains or something.
this weekend was gorgeous though. We had our
Yeah,
first
sure
soccer
was.
game on Saturday, and it was amazing.
Yeah, that was,
It's amazing.
Saturday was nice. It came-
Oh,
It's supposed to rain this Saturday
Okay.
though.
oh, it's it. I don't look that far out.
Well, let's hope they're wrong.
Yes, that's
Yes.
right. That's right. All right, guys. Good meeting.
Very good.
Thank
Good
you.
meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.